So first item on our agenda is to approve the June 2nd meeting minutes. And I just added I will finalize adding the attendees, but I forgot to put that on there.
That's right, we had, I guess, that night here. Did you have a chance to look? Anybody want to make a motion?
I was here.
I think you joined us on Zoom. I have your name written down. Sky was talking to us about the natural areas plan update.
That was most of the meeting, going through the revisions.
Oh, no, I think I was here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I remember you commenting.
So I'm allowed to make my own motion, right?
Oh, sure.
moved
Motion to approve the minutes
minutes.
from the June meeting.
Yep.
All in favor? All right, thank you. So Victor turned in his resignation notice for the Energy Committee and Conservation Commission as of today or Friday. I went and saw Victor. He's healing, but he needs the time to keep doing rehab and heal up. So he will, no, his position was through 2026. So we don't have, we're down a member of the Conservation Commission at this point. So I thought we could brainstorm a little about, like, if there are people we thought we should reach out to that might be good to be a member, or ideas for ways to get the word out that we could use a new member. And I kind of wanted to ask Josh, I don't know, he said we had to do our election of officers because it's the new fiscal year, but as far as I know, we just have to do it yearly. I don't know that, like, it has to be done at this meeting, not to say that we shouldn't, but I just was curious about the date. And in order to sort of prepare for the meeting, I went back and looked at our ordinance that established us. And it says, we shall annually elect a chair, a secretary, and a treasurer from among our members, and adopt reasonable rules for the conduct of our meetings. Decisions are made by majority vote, and we can't make any decisions unless there's a majority of members present, which in our case would be 3 or more. In the event of a permanent vacancy, the select board shall, within 60 days of its occurrence, appoint a new person to serve for the unexpired term. So there's a kind of a short window on when we can find somebody to fill the position. You sent out the notice that we needed to elect officers, but because it's the new fiscal year, but there's nothing in our charter that says it has to be like at this meeting.
It doesn't say it has to be at this meeting, it just says it has to be done annually.
Okay.
So, yes.
And what's the town's fiscal year is?
It starts in July.
So it's July 1 to June.
Oh.
Jane, as far as people that potential candidates for the vacant spot, sorry to hear about Victor, by the way, but makes sense for him to focus on himself. I know we've had a couple of residents attend some of our meetings. Is it Clay? She's been to a number of meetings. Is she there? I can't, unless someone talks, I can't tell who's there.
Josh, Audie, Angie, and I at the table.
The other one was, I don't know if, I guess he attended maybe the June meeting, Eric Whitney.
Yes.
I know him because his wife works with me. I don't know if he'd be interested. He's been in town a couple of years, but Clay's obviously attended a lot of our meetings. So those were a couple of ideas I had. I can reach out to see if Eric would be interested through his wife.
Great. Anybody else have any ideas of people? I mean, other than putting it on our Facebook as like an announcement. we can add it to the Conservation Commission webpage that we're looking for a member. And if it says Victor's position expires in 2026, Josh, does that mean it expires at the end of the year, at the end of June?
What I'll have to check in on is, what it could mean is that whoever takes his position would then basically finish off his,
Right,
until 2026.
but I'm wondering like what month that end date would be.
Yeah, I'd have to double check. I'd have to look back into that.
So, because if it's like January,
Mhm.
it doesn't make sense to find somebody that's interim. Because
Right.
it's only a couple months, but if it's, next June, of a year from now, then somebody might wanna try us out for a year and then see if they wanna continue for a longer period.
Exactly.
So it doesn't specify the date on the website, just says year, as you noted.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'd
So,
like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to nominate Shayna Dees as the chair of the Topsham Conservation Commission.
Someone had
Do
to
I have a, do I have a second?
I second that.
if
Do
somebody
you
does
have
it, then
desire?
somebody else is secretary. I
Yeah.
can't do both.
Right.
No, no, I understand that.
Yeah. Do you have an interest in doing it? Or does the win in 2026 matter? Does that influence your decision?
I mean, it would be for this next year, and I could do it for a year if that's what we do, but.
Your term expires in 2027, so you have it's not as if it'll expire next year, less than a year from now. It's in 2027, so.
Right, but we're electing officers for 1 year, basically.
Correct.
We do that today.
I think it's appropriate in this case, just because Vic has tendered his resignation, that we would do it immediately, because we do need a new chair. If we knew he was coming back in a month or two, I might feel differently.
When he comes back, he might just, if he does want to come back, he might feel better just being a regular old member.
Mhm.
Did he resign from being the chair or resign from the commission completely?
From the commission.
Okay, so he's giving up his term then. So in order to come back, he would need to reapply for, just like we all have to. Okay.
Yeah. Which I think after talking to him is his hope. But depends on his medical recovery.
Mhm.
All right, so we need to find out a few things about filling his position. We have some ideas for names, which I think we should wait to reach out to until we know how long we're asking for.
Well, first, did we finish the motion?
No.
Did you wanna?
Audie seconded.
Yeah,
I heard it.
Think are we gonna vote?
And then,
I guess we should vote.
I was like writing down. like,
Well, there could be discussion. I mean, if Shayna, I don't want to put you in an awkward position.
Well, I guess I just wanted to think about who all the officers would be, and then we can vote on.
Yep.
Plan it after that, so.
I'll volunteer to be treasurer, since that's such a difficult duty.
The way that it usually works is, Victor was chair, I was secretary, and then together we sort of worked on the budget. So we didn't have like a third member that was treasurer.
Okay.
No.
But we can, that's just the way that we had done
Yeah,
it.
although I think
these years.
in our, in the code, we are supposed to, we're technically supposed to have a chair, secretary and a treasurer.
That is what it says in the ordinance.
Yeah, and I was talking to Mark, and it seems like because it says chair, if you guys wanted to elect a co-chair or vice chair, because it's a chair position, you could, if you wanted to.
So I'll second your motion to be treasurer, Chris.
We still finish the first motion.
No, I wanted to talk about
Oh,
who might
okay.
be interested in the roles before we vote on them.
Oh, okay. I
Okay,
didn't
are
know.
we
So
doing,
next
are we,
year right now, I get to do that.
are we doing a coin flip between Angie and Audie to see who gets to be secretary?
Who wants to be secretary?
I can hardly navigate the Google Drive. I don't know what my problem is with it.
I guess that leaves me. I would do it.
All right.
I will be backup for any time you can't do it.
I appreciate that.
There we go.
All right, so I'll make a motion for Angie as secretary.
Second,
So all those in favor of me being chair for the next year? And how about Chris being treasurer? And Angie secretary? Don't want to vote.
Can I vote myself?
I think you can.
Yeah, I think you can.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a plan. Awesome.
thanks, Shayna.
You're welcome.
You're already doing the job anyway, so you might as well have the title.
Wear the hat. I'm gonna skip the natural areas plan update for a minute, as long as everybody's okay with that, and move down to updates. So, Eileen and I got the GIS data that her students worked on to Josh,
Correct. Yep.
and that's all, you're
Yes.
set, you have it.
That's great. We have it.
Access.
Yeah, we have it in a thumb drive. And there's a lot of like GIS work that we're doing. Well, that we're planning on doing behind the scenes, kind of to get our GIS back up and running. Since the like past planning, there's been like a gap in I guess whoever was in the planning office before Sky and I didn't really use GIS, and then but then the person before them did, and so there was a big gap in like how all of our files are working, and so that all we
And
need
organize.
to organize. Yeah, we have to reconsolidate all of that, but we have the data along with our previous data, and so that is secure, and so hopefully once we get that up and running, then we'll have a treasure trove of Eileen's Eileen stuff. So
Yeah, and I know that she's always willing to share what she has. But she probably will be retiring in the not too distant future, so we should think in the next year if there are things we want to make sure we get from her. Who, is it you or Sky? Do you both have GIS capabilities?
we both do. I mean, when it comes to GIS though, like it's definitely more of a Sky. I mean, she's kind of doing like she's working on the plan to get us like operational with GIS again.
Great.
So yeah. So basically, when we got the data, we just like gave it right to Sky, so she can kind of keep it in with all the data.
Okay. Chris, I have the tree committee on here. Do you want one of us to just make sure we go? Do you still
think-
want to be the
I think it'd be
tree
good
guy?
just, well, I'd love to go, but they always fall on not a good night for me, as I mentioned before.
Right.
I'm not sure when the next meeting is. I think we talked about the one in June. I can look it up and let people know, and maybe if everyone just puts it on their calendar, and if someone can make it, I think it would be good since, I'd like to know what they're doing and what we might be able to do in Topsom. It's just a bad night for me.
Yeah.
So, I can look it up right now.
I think Shayna's looking
I'm
it up.
looking at it. They don't look like they have summer. Maybe they don't have summer meetings?
Minutes from the last meeting said it was,
Oh,
so it's the
July
third
20th.
Tuesday of the month. So June 17th was I may not have looked that meeting up. We may have just speculated it was the 17th.
So, why don't you find out when the next meeting is, and we can make that like our meeting. for whatever month we can go, just so we can figure out what they're doing, and
Yeah.
it's just on you to go.
Thank you.
Yeah,
See if I can reach
We
out to
can-
them.
yeah, if you let us know when maybe the next couple meetings are, we can figure out which one would fit best in our schedule.
Mhm.
And then I also had on here that the climate action plan passed at town meeting, which is great. And Josh has the select board committee policy meeting updates that he passed out a hard copy to us. And do you have one you can email us so that Chris can look at it?
Yep.
So why don't we take a minute to look through this?
If that should pop up in your email in just a second, Chris.
Sorry, what's that? I'm sorry, I'm already trying to send an email to the town of Brunswick.
Chris. No, I just sent you a copy of the board commission committee policy.
Okay.
So that
Oh,
should pop-
did that end up passing the
Yes, it
select
did.
board?
Yep.
Seems a
It
lot
was
more
adopted
streamlined.
on June 19th.
Yep.
This was a lot more lengthy previously.
Yeah.
I wonder what was
And
removed.
So if we can't miss more than a third of meetings, and we have kind of 11 a year, because we usually take one off. We can't basically miss more than 3.
Josh, do you know if that's something that staff are gonna be keeping track of and policing attendance at
So-
meetings and stuff? Have you guys talked about?
It's, well, in this ordinance or policy, it says that
It's the
if we
chair.
miss more than a third, then the committee chair has to notify the select board,
Oh,
and the select board may instruct the town manager to inquire into the reason for the absences.
So basically, if you guys would like for me to keep track, I can keep track of it. I am absolutely not gonna be like quietly behind the scenes, keeping tabs of you guys. Like, here. Yeah, no, like you won't be getting like a warning email from me or. No.
How do you all feel about it? I feel like personally, I would say we could just talk to each other if we notice people are missing a bunch of meetings and say, you know, it's our policy that we attend and what's going on. That's my kind of thinking, but if we want Josh to be a more formal attendance taker, we can.
oh, I'm not suggesting that at all. I was just curious how it was gonna, is it gonna be policed? I think, obviously, if we have, yeah.
It does say shall, so we have to take attendance and we are supposed to just,
I mean, we have the attendees at the top of all of our meeting
Yeah.
minutes, so I think we could just talk to each other if we're noticing a
Yeah.
lot of truancy.
And the way that I'm reading it, because it puts it on the chair, so pretty much it would just rely on the chair, like bringing it up.
Yeah.
Right, so.
It seemed to me when the select board met about it the first time that it was they wanted a way for people to address issues if they arose. And so I don't think that they're looking to make issues be a big deal. I think they're just looking to have a way to fix an issue if it's occurring on the committee or commissions. And because we're not typically making like decisions that are really impacting people's private property and livelihoods at our meetings, I think that maybe they're not as concerned about us as they might be about other groups that are, you know, making decisions about people's, what they can do on their property or whatever. Okay, so I'm okay with moving forward as like, this is our guidance, and if we're having an issue, we can talk about it among ourselves. And we could take it to the select board if we feel like there's a problem.
So it does allow the continuation of working on a document. We just all shouldn't be working on a document together at the same time. Cause that would be a quorum
Yeah, if
working
it's
on the
less than
document.
four.
Is that in
Okay.
C or D?
It's
E.
Oh, I haven't gotten that.
Yes, that's the one that we were most concerned about.
Yeah.
When we were discussing this previously.
Okay,
We should not be writing an email to the whole group and discussing anything in the email with everybody, all of the members on it. That violates this,
Correct, and typically, what I'm,
which I don't think we ever really do. Sorry, to interrupt.
yeah,
More normally, it's like, go look at the document.
right, and typically what I try to do is, although I can just do it now, but I try to send you guys emails via BCC, and it just prevents like too much like conversation, but like you said, I mean, I guess in generally, it's like, you just don't wanna have any decisions being made.
Yeah.
Outside of the public eye.
Like, you can send an email to the whole group saying, you know, at your leisure, go look at the document that we're working on.
or here's a resource I found.
Yeah,
Check it
you
out.
just can't
Right,
have a back and forth that is discussing matters.
And I think the biggest no-no is making any decisions
yeah, that's,
outside of our meetings where public folks can attend.
and generally, I mean, I think like even like, if a matter comes up of importance, I would say at most, in an email, it would probably be, hey guys, this issue came up. I think that this is something should discuss at the next meeting, basically, which
Or
is
let's put it on
typically
the
how,
agenda.
or we'll put on the agenda, which has typically been how
Mhm.
communication has been for
Yeah.
us anyway.
The other one was part C, which I kind of skipped over, but wanted to come back to, where we can't take positions or make recommendations outside the town without prior select board approval. So I pulled back up our ordinance for us. And, I'm looking at it now. It is, if you go to our Conservation Commission webpage, there's a link to it from there of our ordinance.
In particular section. I can share my.
Is it the commission establishment?
Yeah, and the first, if you go to our Conservation Commission webpage, the first paragraph talks about us, and the last thing on that second paragraph is this ordinance, which is the ordinance that made us a commission. And then if you click on it, it goes to an E-code 360 webpage. Yep. And under, so the first part talks about electing ourselves and who can be members. The second part is powers and duties. And I just thought it might be worth looking at what we can or should be doing quickly through here, since we're thinking about adding new members and what we're gonna do for the next year. So we can acquire fee simple interests if we have select board approval. We can recommend accepting gifts in the municipality's name. We can recommend disposition of property in town. We can obtain professional services to perform our duties. We can maintain, manage, and improve land and interests and land held by it. So basically like the, the invasive species management that we do, or the nature trails, or the conservation easements. We can be responsible for care superintendents of conservation lands. We can coordinate research. We can coordinate the activities of conservation bodies organized for similar purposes, which would also, like the tree, our old tree committee would fall under that. We can advertise, prepare, print, and distribute books, maps, charts, plans, and pamphlets, which in our judgment we deem necessary, utilizing funds of the town acquired through grants or appropriated by the select board. So that I'm reading as like educational materials about conservation. We can maintain an inventory of all open areas. We can recommend a program for better protection, development, or use of such open areas. We can submit our budgets. We can advise the planning board in regard to sensitive areas in the town, and we can coordinate natural resource objectives and implementation strategies as stated in the current adopted comprehensive plan. And then, so in the past, people have come to us and asked us about providing our input on things like, should BTLT purchase a certain property? Is it like of conservation value? Or, the letter, a letter about an activity that another, like the energy committee is doing, like soliciting our support for their activities. And there's nothing about that specifically in our ordinance, other than the fact that we can advertise, prepare, print, and distribute books, maps, charts, plans, and pamphlets. So.
I think N covers it.
N.
They coordinate natural resource objectives and implementation. So like, if somebody's asking us to give a letter of support in something that would, in my broad view, I would think that maybe could fall under it. Maybe not.
Well, that'd say as long as, basically then my understanding would be if the Conservation Commission sees this as something that the comprehensive plan supports, then we give.
Yes.
Like they would give their recommendation to the select board and say, the Conservation Commission would like to support this, and then the select board could then amplify it if they wanted to.
So I guess I'm wondering about this section as far as like, it says we can't take positions or make recommendations to town departments, other committees, and or the select board. Oh, we may take positions.
Well, you would take your positions to, like, you take them first internally.
Yeah.
They may take positions and make recommendations to town departments, other committees, and or to the select board.
So we can make internal recommendations, basically. So what is this preventing?
This is preventing, let's say, the Conservation Commission from making a public statement on behalf of the town without previously getting approval from the.
So we can't make a public statement on behalf of our commission. We can only tell the select board that we want to.
No, I think you could, you just have to get permission from
the select.
you have to, like, if BTLT came to us and said, we have a grant, we want a letter of support from you, we would write a letter of support and we would go in front of the select board and say, we've been asked to give a letter of support. It falls within, what we are, our purview under the comprehensive plan, and so here's the letter. Do you approve us doing this? And then they would vote on it. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Exactly.
Okay, sorry,
Yep,
just
no,
I wanted
no,
to.
that's
We actually have,
excellent.
to do anything like that, we have to get on the select board agenda,
Correct.
which means that if things are time sensitive, it's
No.
too bad.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I think what they're trying to avoid is, you can imagine if there's a controversial topic and any one committee was to come out and say, like, you can imagine it could be a bit sticky if you have two committees of the same town who come out and make a statement on two different opposite sides, and then like, what is the town's position if the town's committee A says yes and the town's committee B says no? So in order to kind of just make sure that the town is putting out one solid message, like it's kind of the Conservation Commission's, it's like in their duties to say, hey, as the Conservation Commission Select Board, we would recommend to you that as a town, we support this thing.
So it would be basically in the public record, us saying that we support it, because it would have to be in the agenda item for the select board.
Right.
So even if they decided not to do it,
Yeah.
the town would know that we were supporting it.
Yep, and also every meeting is public. So basically, yeah, I mean, internally, if you take a vote and say all of us have voted we're in support of this and we'd like to take it to the select board and ask for permission to, like, for the town to take this position. In a way, it's kind of similar to what happened with the fish, the bypass. We took a vote here, we supported it, and basically, the Conservation Commission recommended to the select board, like, your commission, us, we think that you should support this, and then they said, okay, and we did.
So I think that's something important for our partners to know, though, because it's like minimum of 3 months before you could actually provide any sort of letter or something like that.
Yeah, because you have to get materials out to the Conservation Commission, all the members, and then the members would have to take a vote on it, and then it would have to be put to the next select board meeting, which could be, from that meeting, it would probably be at least 2 weeks out, 2 to 3 weeks.
They do meet twice a month, though.
Yep, they do.
There's at least that. All right. Anybody have any questions about this policy or how we're gonna use it? The biggest things that maybe aren't different, but just of note, are the fact that we kind of need to make sure we don't miss more than 3 meetings, because then we have to address it. And we should probably, at least, I mean, who do you think our partners would be, like BTLT or any other commission in the town would know, because they have this too. So I guess they're the ones that I think of most as like partners that may need to know that our turnaround time is less. Anybody else we should talk to about this new
Do you
policy?
remember sending out any other letters?
If we have, it's been a pretty long time. Like a lot of our recommendations that we've made are to the select board,
They're
like with our paper streets
Right.
and, to the planning board, or to the energy committee. So I don't think we've done many external letters besides the CLT.
I think it's important to know, sorry, I'm scrolling between screens here. On the bottom of paragraph C in the new policy, to the extent this section conflicts with a statutory or ordinance assigned duty of the board or committee, the statutory or ordinance assigned duty controls. So if we feel that, within the rundown of our duties, we're allowed to do certain things, then we can make a decision as a commission whether that supersedes this policy. But I don't think, sending letters in support of some legislation, as an example, is something we would ever want to do without getting select board approval. Supporting things that are within our charter we may be able to do that. Certainly, we could run it by the select board, but if we're not getting feedback from them and it's time sensitive, we can decide with input from staff on if we're okay to move ahead, and maybe that staff is Mark. So, town manager.
Mhm.
And that's not to say I want to go over and above this policy, but sometimes things are time sensitive and they may not fit within the timeline needed for the select board to meet.
Mhm.
And I don't want to
Anything-
burden them either. I don't want to burden them with with having to do a bunch of stuff. Not that we write that many letters, frankly. So
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to my mind too. Like, are we gonna be adding a lot of things to the select board agenda that maybe might get cumbersome, but
K stands out to me, like may recommends to any municipal body or board,
Oh.
or any body politic, or public agency of the state of Maine,
mhm,
a program for better protection, development, or use of such open areas. So
Mhm.
this, in a way, that I do find is a bit in conflict
yeah.
there.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably something where we'll just have to see when things like this might come up that we'll need to use the structure of asking the select board, or if something is like, well, we need it next week.
Yeah, for example, what I would say is, like, let's say something comes up and, let's say it has to do with legislation passing in the state of Maine. And there is a very close time limit to make a recommendation. At that point, I would say it would just be in the interest of the committee, or the commission, to just, like, we could quickly check with, like, Mark and the town attorney to kind of, like, look at the language and see if based on the language, we're in our right to you're in your right to make that recommendation to the state or not.
Mhm.
But yeah,
I really feel like we haven't run into, aside from like, I think we gave a faster turnaround for the BTLT, but like,
Mhm.
I can't see this being a.
Yeah,
yeah. Honestly, I mean, I think in the background, I am gonna do my own. I do kind of just want to look into, like, clarification with Kay a little bit.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah, there just seems to be a little bit of
And is
conflict
our
there.
charter language the same as like the other? Are these the same for all the other?
Mhm.
No, yeah, not at all.
Ours is special.
Yeah.
Um,
I think this,
Yeah.
I think the special ones is like, you've got, like, select board and then, like, planning board, which is like a separate judicial body. And then you have the conservation commission, which is, like, baked into our code.
Hmm.
And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure all the other committees are they're like I think they're called ad hoc. They're, like, created by the select board for specific reasons or purposes, more so than just an ongoing part of the Topsham government.
mhm. We're actually, well, I guess they are too. So it seems worth, between now and the next meeting, or like when you get the minutes, I'll put the link to our charter legislation or our charter ordinance in there. Read it over, just familiarize yourself with the Conservation Commission duties, and maybe bring questions to the next meeting. But Josh, if you can look up, maybe think a little bit more about K and C in our new town policy.
Yep.
I think that would be helpful.
Yep.
Okay. We good on that? Any other updates? We have no public, so no public comment or questions. All right, so at our last June meeting, way long ago, we met with Sky and talked about our project request form.
Oh, I do remember the meeting now.
And, one thing we didn't do was discuss grant application options. But in order for this to be like signed off by Sky and sent to the select board, we were gonna make a couple of changes, which I don't think have been made. So for this little bit of time, I thought, we could do two things. One, well, here are my three questions. One, do we still want to move forward with the natural areas plan update without Victor? Something to consider. He has a lot of knowledge that we won't have. Two, if so, how do we want to go about like applying for grants, and what might the timeline be for that? Like maybe we all pick one to research the process of grant application for. And we need to finalize this document. So that's kind of what we need to do about the natural areas plan if we want to move forward. And I think that we should only move forward with applying for grants this year if people feel like they have the capacity to actually work on it. We don't want to apply for grants and then, none of us can do it. So I'll just open that up for discussion about what y'all think. And I don't know if the budget changes to our federal budget might impact grant opportunities in our state because money may be going to other programs, but that's something to think about too, timing wise, if we think there will even be pools of money, like maybe sooner is better because people still have money, or maybe not because people are scrambling to fill gaps that may be occurring because of less federal funding. So I'll just open that up for discussion. What do y'all think about the natural areas plan?
Did we talk about applying for grants 2 months ago? I
No,
don't,
we tabled it for this meeting because it took the whole meeting to go through the document with Sky.
Is it clear that we need to apply for grants? I mean, it seems like Eileen's class did a lot to get us started, and there was already going to be a request for, funding within the town already. Do we need to go out for additional grant funding?
Well, so funding for the natural areas plan has not made it onto the town budget request for the last many moons. So we figured if we actually wanted to move it forward with some expediency, we need some grants. And what I think the grant money would probably go to is hiring someone that could help us coordinate public outreach, like make materials for the public, get feedback on, like digital feedback on maps and in-person feedback on maps with suggestions of changes, or somebody that can, a consultant that would have some way to help us come up with ideas for ordinance changes that might work better than our current ones that we have. Because I think the application of our natural areas plan is where it's lacking, not necessarily the plan itself, and how we can encourage its use or changes to our zoning that might encourage it to be used, like requiring an open space plan, for example, something that we've talked about.
Additionally, it's also the just compiling the plan, like actually like creating the document itself. Yeah.
I was thinking that by submitting this request form, that we were essentially formalizing the request that would then make that eligible for town funding.
No.
Is it not that tight of a connection?
No.
Okay.
So any funding
Sorry, I
requests would have,
misunderstood that.
yeah, no,
Okay.
any funding requests would have to come like separately for specific items. So like, this is just them saying like, we understand there's a fairly big, like, town affecting project that you wanna embark on, and we think it's a great idea and you have our support. And after that point, then you'd have to come back and say, okay, well, we'd like to get this consultant who's gonna help us put this together, and this consultant who's gonna help us put this together. It's gonna be this much money combined, is that okay? And I can imagine, like, if I was to guesstimate, I would say like, if we were like we didn't apply for any grants, can you, I imagine they'd say first, we'd like to see that you applied
Made
for
an
some
effort,
grants.
yeah.
And then if you didn't get any funding, then come to us and ask for it. That's
Or like ask for a match or something.
right, exactly, yeah, especially because, you know, like, for example, yeah, we've had a few other communities that have had success with like receiving grants recently, so.
Mhm.
Especially because of that, you know, they say, well, the pedestrian bike ped committee got a grant, and then I believe there was a grant involved for the
Climate action
the
plan.
climate action plan, and so you might expect, one.
So the bar has been set high by.
The bar has
other
been
groups.
pretty.
Yeah, okay.
Well, and if we did our due diligence and applied for grants and didn't get them, that would be another reason to ask for internal funding, right? Like, if the money's not out there, could we have half for getting started or something?
Yeah.
So,
So I think without Victor, Chris has the most institutional knowledge on this topic. Is that fair to say?
well.
Yeah, I
this
was
is-
probably involved in it actually more than Victor because I was
Okay.
in it from the beginning. Victor came in on the tail end. So from that perspective, I wouldn't be concerned about, I mean, obviously Victor's a great resource, but I have a lot of knowledge of that process at least. It is a little old at this point. But as back to the grants, we as a commission, in my recollection, since I've been here and in my previous term, we did not fill out grant applications. We had staff, sorry, Josh, Rod Melanson, who was the previous, he did some grant applications, and I don't know if they related to doing the natural areas plan, but whenever we did a grant application, it was, we voted, yes, we support applying for that grant, and the grant application got done and submitted by staff. So I wouldn't even know where to begin, or, you know, what grants would we go after that can fund natural areas plans? You know, so that would be, I think that would be a struggle, at least for me, to know where to even go. I'm, you know, I've written plenty of grant applications for my projects, but I wouldn't consider myself a good grant writer. So, but if we need to make a, you know, showing and go for some, obviously the hope would be to get some and reduce the cost to the residents of Topsham, but you know, I don't think this natural areas plans needs to die on the hill of not getting grants. I think we still can, you know, ask for money. But I don't know, Josh, what your thoughts are from you and the planning office.
Yeah,
I mean, we had talked about what, the community action grant, is that the
Mhm.
name of it?
Yeah.
Which is the only one that I have written down as like a possible avenue to explore. So, like, other ideas for where to look or who to ask, and also, is grant writing under your purview, or is that for us to do?
yeah, no, that's actually a great question. I did for the pollinator pathway, I did submit the grant application for that. So I will have to check in with, I'll check in on that. If it is, I don't have mine. I can do that.
Where's the, so like who, let's see on the Maine Association of Conservation Commissions, anything, like I was hoping they were gonna have like a, this is a
Funding options.
page helpful,
Yeah.
and like helpful.
Funding, yeah.
Yeah, no, they don't have anything like that, so.
We could ask the chair of the Maine Conservation Commission. I know, I feel like Victor had talked to them about, to get ideas, but I don't know if he heard back, or
Oh, you know, he was here earlier today.
Fred.
Maybe older guy with mustache. He was sitting right over there in that chair.
Oh, he left when I was coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he came to to try to catch Victor. And I let him know Victor wasn't gonna be here, and then he's like, well.
Just missed our opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris just posted like a link. Chris just put a link in the chat, I think.
nice.
That may be what we need.
So,
Or these,
so I guess I'll circle back to, do we want to move forward as a team? Like, is everybody willing to put in some energy over the next year to work on this update? Chris, I'm looking at you.
I think it would be, I think I mean, I'm not gonna say the grant writing is the easy part, but I think that's easy compared to putting the plan together. The plan is gonna be the work. Hopefully we'll have a consultant that can help us with some things that, we just don't have in our quiver of experience. But that community resilience partnership grant, the second link I sent, the applications are actually due the 29th of August. I'm not sure how involved they are, and I didn't look down. There's a long laundry list. I've looked at it before related to our work, my work outside of the town here, my profession. But in any event, as far as the timing goes, Josh, obviously we all vote on the town budget at the May town meeting typically.
yes,
So I presume late this year into early next year is when discussions happen about budgets. I would vote and that we try to put something in for the budget for next year with an update on where we stand with regard to grants or grant writing. I wouldn't want to wait another whole year, which would really be about a year and a half. We're already going to have to wait almost a year to get any money. I mean, the first money we would get would be July 1 of next year. So, which would mean after that we could issue an RFP for services. So I think we should try not to miss this year. But we're not going to be doing a lot of work over the next year on the natural areas plan unless there's stuff we feel we can do ourselves to move things along. So, which could be a framework for the update, outline, and that kind of stuff, and looking at some of the data we have and getting some thoughts together on what we think would be a good way to present the data. But we got to get the public input part, ideas on code changes and stuff like that, which we're, just are stuff we rely on experts for. So I guess I don't have, I mean, we did the work. I would not want to have Eileen's and your work, Shayna, and all of her students' work be in vain and not be used. So I think we should move it forward until we finish it, or we decide that we're not doing it anymore, or we don't get funding and we can't move it forward. I wouldn't want to stop now. I would only stop if the town keeps saying, no, you can't have any money. And then we throw a quick memo together with our thoughts on the natural areas plan and call it the update, because we couldn't get funding.
Yeah.
That's my long-winded answer.
You guys, I also feel like some of some stuff can maybe be done just in the, almost 20 years. There's been so much work done by state agencies, like beginning with Habitat and all that stuff that wasn't even part of it. And it could be that there's like steps, or like we could use the existing data that's out there to at least show the reasons why.
Well, I mean, we have a lot of that from the work Bowden did, right? I mean, they looked at a lot of the update of where we stand now, 15 years later.
Yeah.
And that's data. That's easy to present, right? It's manipulating the data to try to find out, are the areas we picked as focus areas still the same focus areas? And I think they would be. I don't think anything's changed. But what's impacted those focus areas? And, what can we put forth for an effective changes in our ordinances to protect those areas? we had no funding when we did the study, the natural areas plan to acquire land. We now are presumably accumulating some money through impact or whatever you want to call them fees, Josh. So, we might even have some money to be able to work toward acquisition of parcels with some partners, but just coming up with how do we protect what we have? But I think the data should be in pretty good shape, Shayna. But we need a GIS person that can help us, and I don't want to necessarily assign Josh or Sky to that. So
Yeah, having someone, I mean, it's also efficiency, right? Like somebody who's works with GIS all the time can do something that we need in a short period of time, instead of somebody that has 8,000 projects already happening in the town. It
right,
might take a longer period of time to do that out of their workday.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
how do other people feel about moving forward the natural areas plan and at least trying to make some effort toward picking a grant or two that might make sense to go for? Does everybody generally support that?
I do. I think it makes sense to dedicate a little bit of each month's agenda towards moving this forward. Pick off a small task that we'd like to accomplish each month and make some steady progress.
Go ahead.
Well, so that probably also really helps to like separate out like the steps a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, so now the main focus, once the project request form is in and accepted, it's like the focus is just what do we need funding for, right? And that's the project for now. And then it's like once funding's figured out, then I don't know. It helps to like break it into like two halves now, right? The first part is just like funding.
But it might make sense just to sit down and develop a plan. So, essentially, what are the order of the steps we need to take? What is the timeline that we ideally would like to be implementing after we get that project request form?
It sounds like we need to dedicate the last bit of it to doing whatever you need to do, or whatever you think we need to do on the form, right?
Well,
Finalize it.
well, I have the notes from that meeting. I just time to do it. So, I don't think that we're gonna get our grant proposal for the Community Resilience Partnership Grant done this month. But I do think, like, we should write an application that we can turn in before next year's deadline, and we should look at where else we can apply. So other than talking to Fred at the Conservation Commission, does anyone have any ideas of like where to look or
I think we
who
should
to ask?
email the MEACC people and ask them if they have a list.
I will do that because I have Fred's email.
And what is our budget ask? Can you remember from our document? The total budget ask that we would be putting out there for grant funding?
Well, we asked Judy Colby George for an estimate, like before COVID.
Right.
How much she would charge because she did the first one. So the ending number that we have is severely outdated. So we could resend her the RFP that we had originally and be like, how much to do these things now? Can you update this for us?
Right.
But otherwise, we don't really have a number.
From my understanding, the number that we came up with was kind of a general, it was like a general number for the select board, just to give them an idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
More so than something more concrete that we'll have to request.
I'm just asking for a ballpark generally to think about which grant opportunities might be
Gotcha.
reachable with the ask.
Oh, I think it was like 40,000.
I was thinking 40 stood out to me. Okay. So maybe,
Yeah.
okay. That's helpful.
So, I can email Judy and be like, can you give us an estimate in 2026 six numbers, how much this would cost now. I don't think she would mind doing that, so that way we can know if that's changed a lot. Would everybody like sleuth it out a little in the next month and like promise to look for at least one thing we might be able to apply for? Or give it your best at
I did
talking to
mine.
people.
I did mine. I
Yeah.
just sent two.
Ha, ha, ha.
There is a category under those community resiliency partnerships that really fits what we're looking to do here. Develop a plan to identify high priority parcels and meet open space and conservation goals. And there's several that are around this category of protect the environment, natural and working lands and waters in Maine. That's one of the strategies. So that's they list like a whole bunch of different topics there. So it seems like that one would be a good one, and that's applying to the state of Maine. I mean that's money that's come through the governor's office, I think. So.
And are those grants issued once per year, or is it?
I thought it was more frequent than that, like every
I
6
thought
months.
I thought it was
Rolling.
twice, yeah, or at least, because rolling
Yeah.
would be helpful.
No,
Oh.
I think this is the 6th round, and I know it hasn't been out. I don't think it's been out for 6 years. So,
So it's probably the sixth one this
We're
year.
what, 5 years into the climate action plan, I think.
well, maybe it
So-
is. Maybe it is once a year. I have people at my office that I can find out more about it because we've applied for some of these because there's stuff that relates to electric vehicles, and we've helped communities apply for some of the other categories under these resiliency partnerships. I think the maximum award is 50,000, if I'm not mistaken. But I can see what the typical application period is and learn more about it, and maybe. Unfortunately, maybe all we can do for the select board for the budget for next year, if there's an early a February round next year, we just say we're applying for this grant, and they're going to say, well, we'll wait to see if you get the grant before we, approve the budget. But we got to do what we got to do.
Well, the fact that we'll have our proposal form in might give us a little bit more traction for applying for some funds to get things rolling. Okay. I don't know that going back through this document is worth our collective time, but I will, are you doing minutes for today or am I?
You were taking mad notes at the beginning, so I just let you.
Okay, so I will do these notes this week and update the form. And as far as I think it's okay. This is one of these new policy questions. So if we have this form, I think that we decided at our last meeting that if we make updates to it, everybody can sign off on the changes we agreed on at the meeting via email, because we agreed on them at the June meeting. So I will send the revised copy out to you with the minutes. And then I would need your okay that it agrees with what we talked about, or any tweaks that we need to make so that we can turn it into Sky. And then Sky can take it to the select board and then they can put it on their agenda.
And I would add, so ideally, we would have everyone's okay at least 2 weeks before the next Conservation Commission meeting, just so that we can give Sky a heads up. But actually,
The next select board meeting or?
well, no, I was thinking, I guess if everyone okays it, we make the changes and okay it. I don't know that Sky would have to come to the next Conservation Commission meeting.
I don't
right? 'Cause
think
it's- Right, because
She
it would
said
be-
she did, because we're just
Basically.
updating what we had talked about already.
Right,
So I think if we all okay that what
Mhm.
changes that we make look good, then we can send it to Sky, who will look it over, and then if anything's weird, we'll have to deal with it at the next meeting, but if it looks good to her, I
right,
think she can give it to
I
us.
think that's right, yep.
So that will be our plan. can't this week, so I have time.
Take advantage.
I was also gonna say, because of the recording policy, I've been, at least for, one, we have recordings of the meetings and have had for like 6 months or so. And two, I'm going to, which I've been doing for the planning board, but for the conservation commission, what I'm gonna try to do is replace, so right now, if you go to our meetings page, there's a link, like a Zoom link to the meeting. And then I want to replace that link after the meeting to just the link to our recording on YouTube. So all these videos,
Oh,
no matter what, are
change
on
the Zoom
YouTube.
link to the recording link
Yep.
after our meeting's done.
Yeah, so you can just go to the page and then you
Would
can
be
just.
lovely.
Yes, so if you're ever putting together the notes, the minutes, and you're like, oh man, we talked about that one thing, it's recorded. So you can always just go, take a look,
Awesome.
refresh yourself if you need to.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I just found my notes from, I was here, definitely was here. So it was Eric Whitney who said he was looking to get on to join a committee.
Right, and we
Did he
said,
already join one?
no, he came and we said, there's no opening.
But now, right, so do we have his contact information?
I do.
This was Justin's.
Okay.
I
Reach
work
out
I
to
work with his
him.
wife, so I'll talk to her. I'll talk to her tomorrow.
And hadn't he said he was on a prior conservation commission before moving here?
I
Yes,
think
it's
so.
that's what we said.
Farmington, maybe? They lived in Farmington, so that might.
So he might have a little bit of.
Are we feeling good about our plan? So for next meeting, I will have given you the revised form to okay. And everybody will take a minute to look for grant opportunities or reach out to ask at least one other person, except Chris, who already did his. And you're gonna check with your people at work though and see if they have thoughts about whether it's a rolling application or.
Who
They can give you some
administers
insight.
that?
What?
Who administers that?
The Governor's Office of
Let's go,
Policy
Pip.
Innovation and the
Oh,
Future.
Colpet, okay.
Okay.
Great. Our next scheduled meeting is September 8th. And we were going to pick a date to do some invasive species management at Ahead of Tide Park this fall. Do we want to use our September meeting to do some invasives cutting, or do we want to do that for our October? And as a reminder, what's out there is barberry, so we kind of lop off barberry that we find and pull bittersweet vines.
If we're gonna, the timing, I mean, our meeting's at 5:30. If it's October, I'm not sure we're gonna have much daylight. So I guess if we're gonna do it,
I mean, we would do that on some weekend probably in lieu of whatever meeting is.
Okay. Gotcha.
Is that more time essential than the Brunswick Tree Committee meeting, which we were talking about also doing it, making that one of our monthlies?
I think as long as we do invasives in September or October, we're good. Anytime after that, the ground would start to freeze and we would freeze.
Is it easier once foliage is dropped for any reason? Like, does that timing matter?
No, I don't think so.
Probably easier before foliage drops, so you can, again, so you can see them better. Sometimes it's hard to.
Tell what
Pick
that
out.
stick is.
Yeah, exactly.
I sent an email to the Brunswick Tree Committee, so we'll see what they say as far as, I'll share meeting dates, see how that works with.
And is this just out of curiosity? Is this kind of like would this become like a little bit of like a town event? Like,
I mean,
letting everybody know, like, hey, like
we're
doing that?
always looking for volunteers. In the past, we've recruited some Bowden help.
Hmm. I feel like it'd be fun. I don't know. I don't know if any of you guys are part of like a Topsham community boards or whatnot on Facebook, but I bet you that could get some could almost be like a annual fall invasive cleanup thing, and you can get a group of people and you hand out trash bags and gloves and from everyone.
I think it's a great idea as long as one of us is willing to manage the volunteers.
Right,
Because it becomes a much bigger event
Mhm.
and educate.
Yeah. We have to teach people what to cut and what not
And
to
what
cut.
not to pull, yeah,
Right,
right.
exactly.
Why don't we wait and hear back from Chris's tree folks and when they're gonna meet next, but if we did do a weekend in September or October to do our invasives day, are there some that are like definite no-goes for people that we wanna cross off the list? Like I can't do the September 13th weekend. But
I would say that Sunday afternoons are generally better all around. Sundays and afternoons are better.
I agree with that.
that would work for other folks, okay.
You can't do October 5th. That's.
Anybody else have definite no-goes that I can think about when we're planning?
Not Labor Day weekend.
It wouldn't be till after September 8th.
Okay.
Okay. So Chris, let me know what you hear and I'll float some dates by folks so that we can put that on the agenda for next time.
I'll get back to you on Eric and also on other grant opportunities. I'll reach out to, we have a couple of grant specialists at Wright Pierce that again are more tracking stuff for our industry, but they're familiar with a lot of grants that are out there, so, or know where to find out about them.
What month are we supposed to report out to the select board about our annual doings?
I'd have to check with Sky and get back to you on that.
Seems like Vic just did it like earlier this year. Was it like in February or something?
I think it was after the new year, but before the budgeting. That's what I remember, but I just wanted to make sure I had time to write it. Since I have to do it.
I don't think you have to worry about it right now. I think it would be, even though I don't know that it says it has to be per the fiscal year. I think we can just do it on a calendar year basis is what I seem to remember.
Okay.
I'll double check. Yeah, I'll double check anyway. Just so if it is a specific date or time, you can throw it on your calendar.
Great.
I like that in the Google Drive. It was probably pretty much on time each year, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's probably a folder, right?
I'm
Even though I can't
in
use
my,
the Google Drive.
well, I'm in my drive and I only see the link to the agendas and minutes. I don't see the link to the Topsham
See, that makes me
documents.
feel better.
There's usually one that's like the documents page that shows up in my shortcuts, but I don't see it. Do you still have a link to it? The
To the Google Drive.
TCC, yeah. I have my shortcut to the agendas and minutes.
I do
but
too.
My
Share.
shortcut to the TCC
I have the agendas and
documents
minutes.
disappeared.
TCC shared.
Oh, yeah, this.
Annual reports.
Let's check dates here. Most recent? 19.
October.
Okay. So this be the most recent. 18, no.
It looks like they're working on it in October though.
So these are ordered, but
We'll go to list.
can I look at properties? Yeah, please educate me.
I think is it this one?
Oh, there we go. 24.
These are all being worked on in
Last
October,
report since October 23.
though. So we need to maybe
That's
think about
really
doing it in
soon.
October.
It does seem more recent than that.
Can you email me the link to
This one.
this one? I don't know why my link disappeared.
Which folder?
The TCC documents.
TCC documents?
Yeah, might as well send it to.
I mean, I have access to it, but
Send it to everyone?
my shortcut
Sure.
disappeared.
That's funny, I knew I remembered seeing it, I just can't ever get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have two under the two, there's like two folders.
Yep, there's one that's agendas and minutes, and there's one that's documents, so it's everything else.
Yeah.
Okay, I just sent. Thank you. I replied to your agenda.
All right, any other business we should talk about tonight?
Then, does that mean we shouldn't skip September's meeting? Or not skip, but,
Do something else?
yeah, does that mean
Um,
we need to?
We will at least have to discuss it, even if we're cutting invasives.
There
But the plan is also for all of us to review and okay the revised
Any
request before then, right?
Yes.
Before the next, okay, regardless of what we're doing.
Yep.
For that
Yeah.
meeting, okay.
Thank you for sending me that link. So Victor's service to the Conservation Commission was, as chair, was over 12 years.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So I don't think it would be a bad idea to
We-
provide a nice job.
We have, I know where to get, maybe you do, but we have been getting for the chairs of the LUPC. There's these little wooden, and it's like engraved, it's a
A little
nice
plaque.
thing, yeah, and I think I don't think they break the bank, but they're nice, they're very nice.
I think that would be lovely.
I can ask our acting executive director, he just had to order the last one, so I can ask him for. Put that on my phone.
And Josh, what would be helpful to me is if you find out when he started, because he's not totally sure.
Mm,
So I know it was at least 12 years, so.
I could figure that out.
We know it was before the last natural areas plan ended or was adopted, but, is there, like, is that the kind of thing that we could ask for funds for, or would we
I don't see why
like
we can't ask.
raise
sure.
that among ourselves?
I'll check, I'll check for sure with the manager's office.
Okay, great.
He has
And I guess
been-
maybe not as like a we'll never see you again kind of thing, but more as a.
Thank you from the town.
Or-
What does the town do something when someone? No,
something.
I know, years ago, when Carla Rensenbrink got off the Topsham Conservation Commission, and she had a lot to do with forming the original committee and the commission. And I don't know how we might have just thrown money in. It was cheap enough at the time. We bought one of those wooden benches that Tad Hunter out on Hunter's farm, as you're going he carves those pine benches out of pine. And we actually got one. I went and picked it up. I had it in my garage for a little bit because Carl lives right around the corner here. So we got that for her.
There is a lot of wooden based, really beautiful plaques that are not expensive.
let's put it this way, I'll throw in some money if we
Yeah,
can't
I
get
will.
anything out of the town. I think we need to do something if we can, even if the town can't fund it, so.
But
So,
I'll still check the town first,
so
yeah.
maybe we should adjourn the meeting, and then we can discuss plans further that aren't being recorded for Victor to hear.
Oh,
Good thought, good
So,
thought.
I make a
Don't listen,
motion to
Victor.
adjourn.
Second.
Whole meeting. Seconded by Chris, all in favor? All right, 6:53, thanks, everybody.